Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Blackwing deck profile. And you guys know that I love Blackwings. Like, this is the deck that if you ever see me out playing at a locals or regionals or any kind of tournament, I have my Blackwings with me. I absolutely love this deck. I think it's one of the most interesting decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And has some of the most support in the entire game. And I've actually made this really interesting build that you guys have been requesting to see a lot recently. I'm really excited to bring this to you guys because it's a very different build than what you might be accustomed to seeing, but it is a really consistent build and really good. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell and there soon come part notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below where we have all those awesome rewards you guys, like getting your name description for a single video, getting a signed card to the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Simoon the Poison Wind. So Simoon is a very interesting card that has the ability that if you control no monsters and you have this card in your hand, then you can banish another Blackwing monster from your hand. Then immediately place a Black Whirlwind from your deck onto your side of the field. Then you can normal summon this card to your side of the field. And since it's normal summon by its own effect, you do get an additional normal summon during your turn, which is a very nice effect. I love that ability just to give you an additional summon. But it does lock you into dark monsters for the rest of the turn. But it gives you a lot of advantage where if you banish a level 4 Blackwing monster from your hand, then you can normal summon this card out with a copy of your Black Whirlwind on your side of the field, and then grab Auster and then immediately go in for a full Armor Master, which is immune to just about everything in the entire game, which is great. Also, this card has the ability that during the end phase, you do have to send that Black Whirlwind from your field to the graveyard, which does kind of suck, but at the same time, it is needed to be able to balance the card out, and you do take 1,000 points of damage. We then play 3 copies of Chris the Crack of Dawn, which can special summon itself once per turn to your side of the field if you control another Blackwing monster except another copy of itself, and then once per turn it can't be destroyed by spell or trap effects. But this card is very important for the deck because it can help you climb down the ladder of your Blackwings because it's sitting at 1900, the strongest Blackwing in the entire main deck. We then play the old school favorite, which is Bora the Speared. So Bora the Spear has the ability that it can special summon itself to your side of the field if you control another Blackwing other than Bora the Spear. This card is not once per turn. If you have 3 Boras in your hand and you have a Simoon and an Auster on your field, you can special summon all 3 copies of your Bora, which is great. This card isn't fantastic, and as its name implies, with it being a spear, it does do piercing damage. We then play a single copy of Zapdos the Elite. Zapdos the Elite has a once per duel effect. Yes, that is in German, but basically what this card does is you return a card from your field to your hand, you take 400 points of damage, and then you special summon this card to your side of the field from the graveyard. It is a once per duel effect, but it is a fantastic card for this deck. You don't need any more than one because it is a once per duel effect. We then play 3 copies of Gale of the Whirlwind. Gale of the Whirlwind can special summon itself to your side of the field if you control another Blackwing monster other than Gale, and it can have the attack of 1 monster opponent controls per Gale per turn, which is very good. We then play only 2 copies of Auster the South Wind. I've actually bumped Auster down to 2 because I keep seeing it in my hand when I play it at 3, and I don't want to just open this card because I can use my copy of Simoon and then search it off the Simoon to be able to then normal summon the copy of Auster and then grab a lower level Blackwing to go into a Synchro, an XZ, or a Link play, which is fantastic in this particular deck. You really only need the 2 copies of it from my playtesting with this particular build. Not to say it's not a good 3 of in a Blackwing deck, but for now, playing 2 copies is totally fine. We then play a single copy of Gladius the Midnight Sun. Gladius, if you control only 1 other Blackwing monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a pretty good effect just to get you an additional monster. 2 copies of Hamaten the Dust, which can special summon itself to your side of the field once per turn, and also you get to target a Blackwing monster on your side of the field and increase this card's level by that monster. So for example, if you do have a copy of your Hamaten, you can normal summon Hamaten, use the copy, normal summon the Auster, then special summon the Hamaten, target the copy of Auster, and then make this card a level 6, and then make this card a level 4, and then Synchro summon for 10, which is pretty good. There's a lot of different combos in the deck with your copy of Hamaten, but that's one of the basic combos. We then play a single copy of Blizzard the Far North, which you can normal summon to your side of the field. It can't be special summoned, and then it lets you special summon a level 4 lower Blackwing from the graveyard to your side of the field, which is a really good effect for Synchro plays or Link plays, plays. We then play 2 copies of Orochi the Squall. Orochi is fantastic in this deck because you can special summon it to your side of the field. If you don't control, or if you don't, you can special summon this card to your side of the field if you control another Blackwing monster, and it's level 1 tuner, which is really, really helpful for the deck. So that's it for the Blackwing monsters. Let's get into the other tech cards that we're playing in the deck. It is a primarily Blackwing-faced deck, but you do play a couple of tech monsters on the side. So for the tech monsters, I'm playing a single copy of Raider's Wing because it helps me go in for a lot of different XZ plays and Synchro plays, because it has the ability that's treated as a Phantom Knight and Raid Raptor card as well. And if this card is in your hand or grave, you can detach a material from this card, or detach material from a Dark XZ monster to immediately special summon this card to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. And a Dark XZ monster that uses this card as a material has the following effect: that your opponent can target this card with card effects. They cannot target it, which is a really good effect. We then play 1 copy of Singing Lanius. Singing Lanius can special summon itself to your side of the field if you control an XZ monster, which is very, very good in this particular build because you do play a very small engine of Raid Raptors and Phantom Knights in here. Very, very small, just 2 and 2 of each, which is a single copy of the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots and a single copy of Phantom Knight of Ancient Cloak. These are just basically you banish from the graveyard, and they give you searches off your copy of Rusty Bardiche. Now, I will say, in a lot of other builds, people just play like 3 Blackwing Synchro monsters. That's not what we're doing here. We're actually playing like 6 to 7 Blackwing Synchro monsters in the extra deck. It is a primarily Blackwing focused deck, but I wanted to make a deck that I could actually summon Ultimate Falcon and use the Requiem Dragon and Arc Rebellion in my extra deck, and so I actually made the deck focus around playing Blackwing Synchros and having this as a backup strategy to work with them, which is a very, very nice combo, I will say. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom as well, just to kind of shut our opponent down with the 3 copies of Ash Blossom. They're very, very good in the deck. Basically, you have 2 extenders, 2 searchers, and then hand traps just to stop your opponent from all sorts of different shenanigans. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're playing just a few spells in this deck with a single copy of Monster Reborn, just as an extender play to be able to get us more monsters onto our side of the field. It's very, very good to play 1 copy of Monster Reborn in this deck. 2 copies of Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. Now, this card is used for 2 monsters in the extra deck in the form of Requiem Dragon and getting into your Arsenal Falcon, which are both fantastic XZ monsters that you're going to be able to get into really, really easy. And basically what this card does is it's searchable by your copy of Rusty Bardiche, and it has the ability that during the main phase you can banish 1 other dark monster from your graveyard to target a dark XZ monster you control, and special summon from your extra deck 1 the Phantom Knight's Raid Raptor or XZ monster that is ranked equal to the amount of number monsters banished plus 1. So for example, if I have on my side of the field a copy of Rebellion and I banish 1 dark monster, then I can go up by 1 rank and go up to a copy of Requiem Dragon, which gives me negates on my side of the field, which is fantastic for this particular deck, just to have all that OTK potential with the Blackwings and a little bit of control base with the copies of your Rebellion and your copy of Requiem. It's really, really helpful for this particular deck. And it also has the ability that for the rest of the turn, you can add special summon monsters from the extra deck except for XZ monsters, which is not that big of a deal because you're basically going to use this on your opponent's turn because it's a quick play to be able to get you this additional gates during your opponent's standby phase. We then play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is just going to help you dig into the deck a little bit deeper, and then you play 3 copies of Black Whirlwind, which is the primary searcher of the entire build and is fantastic in this deck because it has the ability that when a Blackwing monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, then you can add 1 Blackwing monster from your deck that has a less attack than the one you just summoned. So for example, if I do normal summon out a copy of Simoon, I can then use the copy of Black Whirlwind that I placed on the field with Simoon to be able to search out of the deck a copy of Auster, and then since I banished a card off the Simoon, I can then grab that monster back with like a copy of Auster, with like a Chris, a copy of Zaphros, or a copy of Bora. You play 7 real good targets to actually go for the Poison Wind, so you have a lot of different plays in this deck with this card. This card is absolutely insane, and is the reason the deck works so well and is so consistent. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. We do play a couple of traps just to help us give a little bit of negation against our opponent and have a little bit of extension plays, which we play a single copy of Shade Brigandine. Shade Brigandine is very good to search in the deck because you can make a level 4 monster on your side of the field with this card, and you don't play very many traps in the extra deck or in the main deck at all. And then you play 2 copies of Fogblade because you can search them off your copy of your Rusty Bardiche, and you basically, with the copies of Fogblade and then the copies of the Phantom Knight Rank Up Magic Force, you do have 5 cards you can search off your copy of Rusty. So you have potential plays to make additional XZ plays, you can get negations of monsters, and you can get an additional monster on your side of the field that's level 4 to make an XZ play. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. And as promised, guys, we are going to be going into the Synchros, which we play a lot of Synchros in this extra deck. So we're going to start off with one full armor master. You just really need one because you're only ever going to really go for one and then back it up with a lot of different plays. So what the full armor master does, it has the ability that's unaffected by all the card effects. It has 4 effects. It's unaffected by everything. And each time a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, you can place one wedge counter on that opponent's monster. That's the effect number 2. And after the effect resolves, once per turn, you can target one other monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter and take control of that monster. That's effect number 3. And effect number 4 is once per turn, during the end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have wedge counters. That's effect number 4 right there. So this card is really, really good because you make it on your side of the field with the greatest of ease in this deck. You can make it in defense just to give you a monster that the only way that your opponent's going to get through this is smacking through it. It's unaffected by everything, which is fantastic. And it's just an overall really good card in the extra deck. Play a single copy of Armor Master, which is kind of the opposite of Full Armor Master. It has the ability that can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from battles involving it. And if it is attacked or involved in any battle, you put a wedge counter in the opponent's monster. You can pull the wedge counter out to make the monster's attack go to 0, which is really cool until the end phase of the turn, which can help you with a lot of OTK potential. We then play a single copy of Chidori, the Rain Sprinkling. This card gets really, really, really big. And if this card is Synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster, it's treated as a tuner monster, which doesn't come up all that much, but it has the ability that while face up on the field, this card gains 300 attack for each Blackwing monster in your graveyard. And when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one other Wing Beast Synchro monster in your grave, except another copy of itself, and special summon it, which is fantastic and gives you a really big beat stick on your side of the field. One copy of Raikiri, it can pop cards on the field equal to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control, which is really, really good. This card is fantastic for this deck and just gets you a lot of advantage with this card. One copy of Hawk Joe, it can actually revive out level 5 or higher Wing Beast monsters from the graveyard, which is really good. It's kind of like a walking monster reborn and helps out the deck a lot. And for the last Synchro monster, we're going to be playing a single copy of Nothung, which gives you an additional normal summon, reduces the attack of an opponent's monster by 800, and inflicts 800 points of damage to your opponent on summon, which is fantastic and is just an overall really good card. So for the other cards we're playing only 2 Link monsters, which is a single copy of Rusty Bardige, because it kind of is the central, like, Link monster that you're going to want to go for to get you all your searches and a lot of your card advantage. It's just too good not to play this card, and it's just an overall really, really nice card. So basically what this card does is when it's Link summon, or during either play or during your main phase, you can send a Phantom Knight monster or Phantom Knight monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then you get to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap directly from your deck to your side of the field, which is an insanely good effect just to be able to get you some more card advantage with this card. And it has the ability that if a Dark XZ monster uses effect while this card while its card's on the field, you can target one card on the field and destroy it, which is a really, really good effect if a Dark XZ monster special summon to his own this card points to. It's just an overall fantastic effect. One copy of Wise Tricks, because you just use this card to climb into your Rusty Bardige. It also can get you a rank up magic spell, which is pretty good to be able to just get on your side of the field. The copy of the rank up magic Force on your side of the field is just really, really, really good. And if it's Link summon, you can special summon a level 4 Dark Wing Beast monster to your side of the field, which is either going to be Zaphros or Raider's Wing to your side of the field. A single copy of Force Tricks, because it can search out Dark Wing Beast monsters from the deck. One copy of Arsenal Falcon, because you use this to climb into your copy of Ultimate Falcon, and usually you will end on a board with your copy of Force Tricks on the field, and then you can use the rank up magic to go from the copy of your Force Tricks into your Arsenal Falcon. And then if the Arsenal Falcon gets destroyed or leaves the field by any means of your opponent, then you get to special summon the Ultimate Falcon using this card as a material, which is great. And then we play a single copy of Raider's Knight, because it helps us go into our copy of Arc Rebellion extremely easily on our side of the field, or our copy of Dark Requiem Dragon. But you usually don't want to go into the copy of Dark Requiem Dragon with it. You're going to usually want to go into the copy of Dark Requiem Dragon with a rank up magic spell using your copy of Dark Rebellion XZ's Dragon, because the Dark Rebellion is going to give it that added effects that it's going to need, because it has the ability that if this card has a Dark Rebellion as a material, it's going to gain the following effects to once per turn, detach a material in this card to target a face a monster opponent controls, change its attack to 0, and then this card gains the attack of the monster, or during either player's turn, when an opponent's monster activates its effect, you can detach a material from this card graveyard to negate the activation to destroy that monster. Then you can special summon an XZ monster from the graveyard, which can be any of these monsters that you've already used, which is really, really good to be able to get them back onto your side of the field so you can go into additional plays. So that's it for the deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell us what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. I think it's a very interesting build of Blackwings because it's using two other engines, two very small engines in the form of Phantom Knights and Raid Raptors to be able to make the deck work really, really well. It does kind of solve some of the issues where you were going into Infinity before with Rank Up Magic Soulshade Force, where Soulshade Force was locking you into, or you were locking yourself in with Simoon into Dark. And in this particular build, you're not worried about it at all because everything in the extra deck, I don't know if you guys noticed, but everything is Dark. You don't really care. So I think it helps out the deck a lot for the consistency issue that it was having a little bit with the Rank Up Magic spell. It helps out the deck a lot to be able to go into your copy of Dark Requiem because it's just as good to me, if not better than Infinity. So that's it for this deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.